Hi, boys and girls. Well, it seems Dr. Stephanie was a little bit silly during the first reading to the lovely KG2 classes, and I'm super, super duper sorry. And Chloe's sorry too, but we were on mute. Chloe, why'd you hit the mute button? You were silly? Were you nervous? Okay, well, now Chloe and I are going to read the story again, and you'll get to hear the story all the way through. Ready, Chloe? Okay, let's share our screen. Okie doke. So again, boys and girls, our story is called Never Lonely Again. And we have a little squirrel that looks sad up here, but I think that maybe he'll start to be happy in our story. All right. One morning, Chestnut stayed in bed longer than usual. He didn't feel like getting up. There was nothing for him to do. And worst of all, he had no friends to play with. I might as well keep sleeping, he thought to himself, when suddenly his whole house began to shake. An earthquake, Chestnut thought, and was wide awake right away. But it was no earthquake. It was just Morris, the otter, who was playing with the branch of Chestnut's tree. And he's going to jump into the pond with the ducks and the fish. Splash! Are you crazy? Chestnut said furiously, making such a rattle this early in the day. What's the matter? Replied Morris. Why can't you come out and play? Said Chestnut, who didn't want Morris to know that he had no friends to play with. Chloe, you have me as a friend. We can play together. I think I know what your problem is, said Morris, as he dried up his coat. You're just bored with your own company. That happens to all of us at times. Have you ever wondered why we otters are always so happy? Continued Morris. It's because every new day we have to make at least one friend. Then you must have hundreds of friends, Chestnut said skeptically. Or maybe even more than that, said Morris. Come along, I'll show you some of my pals. Chestnut didn't believe Morris for a minute, but he was curious enough to go along with him. That's a really good idea to make at least one friend a day. We can say hello to someone new every single day. Look here, these are some of my friends, said Morris, and he jumped into the middle of a patch of flowers. But those are just dumb flowers, cried Chestnut. They're not friends. Why not? Aren't they lovely with their nice smell? Look at them. They all seem to smile at us. Someone who smiles is my friend, insisted Morris. Now let's try to catch a butterfly, Morris said. They can be very tricky friends. Chestnut still thought Morris was silly, but he liked catching butterflies. Oh, he's starting to smile, guys. Whenever Morris caught a butterfly, he immediately set it free again. We can't keep friends locked up, he said, laughing. Then Morris pointed to a row of rocks leading across the river. These friends are more fun than a bridge. Chestnut wasn't quite sure. So Chestnut looks a little bit nervous over here, guys. The squirrel never went across these slippery rocks. Splash! Chestnut jumped from stone to stone. He had nearly made it to the other side of the river when he slipped and fell into the water. As he climbed to the shore with his coat and tail dripping, Chestnut said angrily, I guess the water is also one of your friends. Of course, Morris said with a laugh. No reason to be upset. Water can be fun. Come watch me. But Chloe, she likes the water, but not when it's bath time. She doesn't like baths. I love water, said Morris. It cools and tickles me all over. Chestnut, the water, said Morris, cools and tickles me all over. Sorry, guys. Now Chestnut had to laugh. He felt a little silly for having been so clumsy. After Morris finished the shower, both of them were dripping wet. They shook off some of the water, and Morris ran to the top of the hill and opened his arms wide. Now let my friend the wind Dry our coats. And in no time they were dry again. Chloe does that trick too. She shakes in the sunshine and dries in the warm sun. Let's lie down in the sun over there, said Morris. The warm sunshine felt good on their bellies. I guess the sun is also a good friend to have, thought Chestnut, but he didn't say anything to Morris. I'm getting hungry, Morris said after a while. This time it was Chestnut who said, come with me. I know someone who will give us something to eat. You mean a friend? You bet, laughed Chestnut, and off they ran. Chestnut showed Morris an apple tree full of ripe red apples. I like your friend, said Morris. And so do I, replied Chestnut. And we know that apples are a healthy snack and they're good for our bellies. So we always have to eat healthy snacks, Chloe, okay? No French fries. Good, yummy apples for our bellies. Then they watched the different clouds going by. The sun was getting low and it was time for them to return home. And we see all the lovely clouds in the sky in all kinds of different shapes. Have you already made your new friend for the day? Chestnut asked shyly. No, I haven't, replied Morris. I forgot all about it. We've just been too busy. Then he smiled and added, but how about you? Would you like to be my new friend? Chestnut liked the idea very much. As they paddled home together, he held tight to Morris. I don't think the Chestnut wants to fall in the water again, so he has to hold on tight. Then the two friends said goodnight to each other. I'll see you in the morning, said Morris. I still want you to meet my friends, the bears, the rabbits, and the raccoons. And with that, he disappeared into the water. And he's going to slide down the branch into the water. That night, Chestnut went to bed early. He set his alarm clock to make sure he wouldn't oversleep the next morning. After all, he couldn't disappoint all the friends who would be waiting for him. Well, boys and girls, I hope you know that at school we can be best friends with everyone, give smiles and high fives and elbow bumps, and that we're here for each other and we love you so much. Right, Chloe? I love you. Okay, Chloe. Chloe and I will say goodbye for now, and we'll see you next week with a brand new story.